What's going on, guys? I'm Zach from the Lumios Post, where we talk about all things Pokemon, and today we will be talking about Pokemon that I think we could see, new Pokemon specifically, in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. We know that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's getting DLC. There's plenty of teases to suggest this in the games, so, you know, it's gonna happen. It's probably gonna happen next year. In fact, it's almost definitely gonna happen next year. These are just kind of things that I think could appear. You know, we don't know if they do new Pokemon other than the ones that have been teased, but I like to think that they would, and it's definitely a fun video to discuss, so let's just get right in. Number one, I want to see a Barcelos Rooster. Now, one of the biggest letdowns for me personally with Scarlet and Violet was that there was no Rooster Pokemon. There was this whole thing circulating before Scarlet and Violet was coming out where a long time ago, Junichi Masuda said that he would love to make a Pokemon based off of the Barcelos Rooster, and that just seemed perfect for an Iberian Peninsula-based region, right? Well, apparently not, because we didn't get that. Now, some people will argue that Koraidon has some, I guess, features of a cockatrice, which of course has features of a chicken, and some people would argue that maybe even Skeledirge's little bird that hops around it is supposed to kind of be a chicken in a way, with that fire ghost typing too being very reminiscent of the Barcelos Rooster, right? Because the whole story with it is that it kind of rose up from the dead, so ghost type definitely makes sense. But that's not enough for me. I want a true rooster. There's a billion different things you could do with a rooster. You can make it fighting type, you can make it fire type, flying type, obviously, and if you wanted to take elements of the Barcelos Rooster, you could take ghost type or fairy type, and if you wanted to make it a true cockatrice, you can even take the dragon type. So there's just so much potential for a rooster Pokemon, and I really want this to happen. Maybe I'm just high on copium on this one, but yeah, I really want it to happen. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is very much exclusive to an area I think we could see in DLC, and that is the Azoras. So the Azoras are kind of like the Hawaii of Portugal in the sense that they are part of Portugal, but they're way out in the middle of the ocean, not remotely near Portugal, similar to how Hawaii is with the United States. So what this is it's these islands, just like I said, in the middle of the ocean, so they're so kind of untouched in a way. I mean, people live on them, but just they have such an abundant nature and flora and fauna that grow there, and they're just beautiful. If you want to know more about them, you should check out this video by Anton Somewhere, where he goes to the Azores and kind of talks about it, and it's just, oh man, it's so beautiful, and I really want it to be it. And one thing that's really cool that lives in the Azores Island is actually a bat. And you may go, well, bats are all over the place, and you're right. But these bats are actually not nocturnal. They are only out in the day, you know, like us. Well, some of us. Some of y'all pretty much are nocturnal, which I don't understand, but no judgment. But these bats are out in the daytime, and I think it would be super cool to kind of make a Pokemon like this, make it a bat Pokemon. Maybe it could be a variant of some kind, but I think it would be cool to just make it a brand new Pokemon, because I love when they do new bat Pokemon, and give it some kind of ability that associates it with the sun, right? So something like chlorophyll or solar power, or if they wanted to get really crazy, they could even give it drought. But I think there's many types that could work for this. Obviously, flying, if you wanted to lean into the whole bat thing, you could do ghost or you could do dark. But even fire, because of its connection to the sun, or grass, because one, its connection to the sun, and two, because of the bats called fruit bats, would be really good as well, in my opinion. I love bat Pokemon, and really like to see this. Now, another new Pokemon that I would love to see in the Scarlet and Violet DLC is very much tied to a Pokemon we have now, and that is Finizen and Palafin. I've seen a lot of fan art of something like this too, but I would love to see a supervillain side of things, right? So Finizen, Palafin, they're a, like comic book superhero. I want to see a comic book supervillain, and like I said, there's many ideas for this. You could do, a shark is kind of a very obvious one and will be a really cool one because sharks are super cool, and somehow we've only gotten 2 with Sharpedo and Garchomp, but we need another, and this would be the perfect way to do it. It could be very similar to Palafin, where it's kind of got an alternate form, where it's its supervillain form and is much stronger. Obviously, Dark type is definitely an option here. Water type could still be slapped on it, so it's Water Dark, which would make it very similar to Sharpedo, but, you know, honestly, I wouldn't mind for another Shark Pokemon, but they could go another route and make it Ghost, or even make it Psychic, kind of like a, you know, super villain that, like, is more of a special attacker, since Palafin is a physical attacker. That would definitely work, but I think that would be so cool to give Palafin a counterpart, and it would be even cooler to give us a new Shark Pokemon. Even if they don't go the whole supervillain route, I do want a new Shark Pokemon. There's plenty of good options, but I think number one, honestly, especially if we go with this whole supervillain theme, I think that the Goblin Shark is just a must. Like, that's such a just metal shark, you know? That's really, really cool. Now, speaking of metal aquatic animals, and I should just state, yes, a lot of these are aquatic animals in my head, because if we do indeed go to the Azores, that's out in the middle of the ocean, so they have access to not only wildlife, but wildlife that you definitely can't get just right off the shore, right? Because, again, they're the middle of the ocean. So, one thing I would love to see is a swordfish. I mean, water steel, it's right there. You don't even have to try hard to make this Pokemon Game Freak, so just put it in the game. A swordfish that's water steel would be so cool. I think that, man, it could very well be one of my favorite Pokemon. They could make it kind of be maybe a rival of Veluza or something, but I would absolutely love a swordfish Pokemon. It makes so much sense to, if we're going out into the ocean, to do a swordfish, and just, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I need it. I need a new swordfish Pokemon. Next, we have something that I'm also, again, very surprised that we did not get in the base game of Scarlet and Violet, and that is a Portuguese Manowar. So, I thought these were jellyfish, but it turns out these are actually that thing that I can't pronounce, where it is a bunch of little animals that makes up one big animal. And we have plenty of Pokemon that are like this. I mean, just this gym we got Tandemouse and Mousehold, and, you know, last gym we got Phalanx. So we've seen things like this before, and I think it would be really cool to give us another one. And maybe it could have an evolution kind of like Dunsparce or Mousehold, where it has either a really, really big form that's kind of rare, or a slightly smaller but still bigger than the, you know, baby stage one that you could get as well. I mean, I think that would be super neat. Water Poison is an obvious choice, but it would be neat to kind of go a different route and maybe give it Ghost Poison, or even Water Electric, or Ghost Electric, Electric Poison. You know, I like when they change it up a bit, and I definitely like when they take a Pokemon and give it a type that is kind of unrelated to it. Things like Chi-Yu or Grapploct, where they're aquatic animals, but they don't have the water typing. I love things like that, so it would be super cool to give a Portuguese Manowar that kind of treatment, since it is kind of so well known to and very much feared. Well, on that note, do let me know in the comments below which of these you like, which of these would be on your Scarlet and Violet playthrough team, or DLC team, if you will. Be sure to also let me know your own thoughts on what kind of new Pokemon we could see in the comments below. If they do that, again, it's kind of unprecedented that they just do brand new, non-legendary, non-connected to other Pokemon lines in DLC, or in a third version or whatever. But I say there's a first time for everything, so it could always happen. I mean, you have to remember, legendary Pokemon used to be these things that couldn't evolve. Well, then we got Cosmog and Type Null and Poipole and Kubfu. So, I mean, you know, things change over time. So again, let me know all that in the comments below. Be sure to also like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you can keep up with all of our future videos. We've got some more speculative videos for the Scarlet and Violet DLC that will be coming out next year. You don't want to miss those. So again, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and hit that bell so you're notified. Until next time, I will see all of you later.